The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
Lock and load. It's time to load up on some intellectual ammunition with Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. It doesn't matter if you learn to shoot with Daniel Boone or you're brand new. You're welcome here. This is the original national talk show about guns, and Tom Gresham is your guide through the maze of ballistics and politics. So grab your phone and call in right now, 866-825-5486, or just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom. Broadcasting nationwide, this is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of gun talk. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
All right, you guys are helping me out as much as you can. I appreciate that. Getting a lot of comments, a lot of emails. People say, hey, here's another rifle you might want to take a look at. We're talking about deer rifles. Also, swap barrel, interchangeable barrel 22, or rather rim fires, where you can swap out for 17 or 22. There's several of them out there. Looks like CZ has them also, as well as the Sacco that I talked about earlier. A lot of choices out there. I've said this before, we are in the good old days. This is the best time ever for the best guns being made, the most variety of guns, more gun companies than we have ever seen. I don't think anybody actually knows how many gun companies there are in the U.S. because there are gun companies in every single state. There are people cranking out ARs and pistols and different things everywhere now. And now with the major manufacturers moving around, coming out of Gun Valley, the traditional New England area, moving to Tennessee, to Alabama, to Texas, all over the place. I tell you, we just have never had the collection, the variety that we have today, and I don't think we've ever had the kind of quality we have today. All right, switching on you for just a second here. And by the way, if you'd like to join us, it's 866-TALK-GUN. That'll get you in here. One of the leading lights in the fight to bring information out, I call it information. It's intellectual ammunition, really, is what it is. It's information that you can use to contact legislators, to talk to your neighbors, to take people out to the range, to basically be an activist, to get involved. You need this intellectual ammunition. And one of the people who's been fighting this fight for many years and doing it really better than just about anybody is Cam Edwards, host of Cam & Company on NRA News. He joins us right now. Hey, Cam, how are you?
Tom, how are you, sir? Thank you so much.
I am good. It is a pleasure to have you here, my friend.
Hey, listen, I'm happy to join you. Thank you. It's we love having you on NRA News Cam & Company. So it's awesome to be able to be on Gun Talk.
Absolutely. Now, how long have you been doing Cam & Company on NRA News?
If you can believe this, we started back in 2004. We launched at the NRA annual meeting in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Wow, 10 years right now.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. I mean, it's amazing. And you do it. Here's the thing that people need to understand. You do this daily. This is a daily radio show, and now it has become a television show, a daily television show, right?
Right, yeah. When we started out, it was 3 hours a day, every day on NRAnews.com, and then we quickly joined the Sirius family and Sirius XM, and then in January of 2013, we launched a daily 1 hour show on Sportsman Channel as well. So we're at 6 p.m. Eastern on Sportsman Channel. We're 2 to 5 Eastern on NRAnews.com, and then you can find us on demand at iHeartRadio and iTunes and all kinds of places, as well as at midnight Eastern on Sirius XM.
And you can also get the information, go to NRAnews.com, and you can drill down and find information there, too.
Absolutely. In fact, we're just one component of NRAnews.com. My colleague Jenny Simone has her investigative reports. We have the NRA News commentators, guys like Colleen Noir and Dom Rosso, and fantastic women like Natalie Foster and Gabby Franco, and just adding to the roster, it seems, by the day. So there's a ton of stuff for folks at NRAnews.com, and Cam & Company is just a portion of it.
But in the course of doing this every day, you follow this all the time. One of the stories that you and I both go to frequently is the not just inherent, but now it is, they come out of the closet, the media bias, where they just say, we're not even pretending to be unbiased. We are advocates because it is in the public interest, because we're going to come out and do this. I mean, I'm looking at this latest thing. Pix 11 is a New York television station. They have just announced that they're taking a stand against gun violence. They're not even pretending to be reporters anymore. It says we're going to push for gun control. I'm watching this and thinking, this is a real change. You and I come from old school reporters, journalism. This would never have stood in newsrooms some years ago, would it?
Boy, I sure don't think so. My first news director that I really worked closely with in radio was a guy named Jerry Bonin at KTOK in Oklahoma City, and to this day, I don't know what party Jerry Bonin belonged to. I don't know what his politics were. I know that he was a bulldog of an investigative reporter, and he really, didn't. He didn't care too much for the political class. Let's say he treated them with a great deal of skepticism, regardless of party. And I don't know. I now know where he stands on the gun issue, but I didn't at the time. As it turns out, pro-gun. We are seeing a new day in activism journalism. We sort of anticipated this, and I guess maybe on the other side, that's what you and I have been doing, along with others, is engaged in real journalism, but certainly with a pro-gun point of view. Mm-hmm. What's different though is that again, this is a mainstream news outlet that doesn't just report on gun issues. And they've now decided to take this bold stance, not against gun violence. We're all against violence,
sure,
except
right.
committing the violent crimes. But again, to now advocate in favor of gun control, which, as you and I know, Tom, doesn't work.
Well, that's the other part of this is they keep saying, and it's interesting, over the years, and I've said this since I've been doing this for many decades now, every time they push for a gun control law, and especially every time that they pass one, as they're sitting there signing the bill, they will look up from the piece of paper and say, of course we know this isn't actually going to do anything about crime, but here, wait for it, it's a good first step.
It's a good first step, or it sends a message.
It sends a message, that's right. So they now admit that gun control doesn't actually do anything about crime, to which, of course, you have to ask the question, then what is it that you guys are actually doing? What is this first step toward? What is the message that you're actually trying to send? Is it that we simply want to get rid of all guns? And occasionally they actually do come out and they'll slip and say that, won't they?
They will. We actually saw a writer in the L.A. Times this past week makes a case. He says, fine, gun control laws don't work. Well, then let's just ban guns then. Let's ban all the handguns. I think his proposal was that if you were a hunter, you could own a shotgun. Maybe you could own a rifle. But I think I don't think it'd actually go for that. And he said, of course, I realize we've got to change Supreme Court history. But he compared the Heller decision to the Dred Scott decision. Which was a first that I've seen. The Dred Scott decision stating that Dred Scott did not have any rights because he wasn't a man. The Heller decision recognizing that Dick Heller, because he was a man, actually had an inherent human right of self-defense. But this guy actually tries to conflate the two. I think at the end of the day, that is what this is about. These are people who don't, for the most part, they're not gun owners. They don't know a lot of gun owners. They don't understand gun owners. They don't understand guns. They're very afraid of guns. Rather than seek to inform themselves, become knowledgeable about something that they are afraid of, they seek to ban it.
Well, exactly right. I mean, and that's what they do. Cam, can I get you? Hold on a second here. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll do that. We're talking with Cam Edwards, host of Cam and Company. I know you have seen him, you've heard him. If not, you owe it to yourself to do it. He does a great job. If you got a question, a comment, you're looking at what's going on with this, seems like a continuous waves and waves of attacks on our Second Amendment rights. Give us a holler. Let Cam can weigh in on that. I know he has an interesting take. Join us, 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Looking for shooting instruction but don't know where to go? Well, we have it, and you can access hours of training and safety videos, which you can watch on your home computer. On GunTalkTV.com, we have top competitive shooters, the best in self-defense trainers, and folks who have hunted all over the world, helping you learn which gun to buy, how to use it, how to store it safely, and everything else you need to be a safe and competent shooter. We also have gun makers showing off their newest rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran shooter or a complete beginner. You'll find what you need at GunTalkTV.com. You can check it out for free, and you can get full access for only $5.95 a month. That gives you unlimited access to hundreds of videos, and we're adding more all the time. Run the videos over and over to make sure you understand what's being said. Skip around. You're in control. Get smarter, shoot better. Visit GunTalkTV.com.
The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Coming up, the whole crew chimes in an on-topic, off-topic free-for-all. Be sure and stick around for the Gun Talk After Show.
Oh yeah, in case you don't know what that is, the after show is when we go off the air, then we really have some fun. We have basically everybody in the studio here gets together, we shoot the breeze about this and that and what we talked about here and maybe some other things, and they'll probably have some suggestions. As in my never-ending search for the perfect deer rifle, of course. Yeah, I know. Just pick one. I know, but it's okay. The real story is it's more fun to do the searching than it is to actually pick one. It's not that I don't have a deer rifle. You know that. I'm just having fun looking at what else is out there. We're talking right now with Cam Edwards from Cam & Company on NRA News. Cam, I was wondering, as you're covering things over the last several weeks, what trends are you seeing? Or is it kind of just as I mentioned earlier, it's just like wave after wave of the same thing coming at us?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So one of the trends is obviously every time there's a shooting or even an incident of violence that gun control advocates can seize on, they will. And the media, many of whom in an election year, I think it has to be said, are desperate to look for stories other than the VA scandal, the crummy economy. They're looking to promote other stories. Benghazi, right. Exactly. They will seize on these types of stories. In this case, the most recent murders in Santa Barbara, it's been amazing to me. I mean, they just keep calling this a shooting, a mass shooting. There were three of the murdered were stabbed to death, but that doesn't appear to be relevant to the media, which is kind of bizarre to me. But before Santa Barbara, we did see the trend of the media and the anti-gunners pushing smart guns as some sort of, cure-all, and why is the NRA standing in the way of technology? Why are gun owners standing in the way of technology? And then we've also seen moms demand action in every town for gun safety, lobbying, using hashtags on Twitter, social media activism, basically, to get companies to respond to try to ban the firearms from the premises. And what we've seen are these companies basically issuing press releases. I don't think they've actually changed policy, but they're issuing press releases asking people to leave their guns at home.
Right. And now some of this, and I was talking with Guy Smith a little while ago on this today's show about this leaked booklet, this playbook that came out last year, Preventing Gun Violence Through Effective Messaging. They're trying to all sing off the same page of the hymnal now so that they get their messaging. I think they think that the reason they have not succeeded with gun control is they just haven't explained it well enough. And if only those of us who are kind of slow of wit would understand it, then we would all jump aboard the gun control bandwagon.
Yeah, but it's interesting because that playbook that you talk about, and it's fascinating to read. They say don't get specific, don't talk about policies. Their playbook is basically when tragedy strikes, look for an opportunity to get in front of a camera, express your sympathy, and pivot to your core message, which is we need more gun control. And it's I got to tell you, I mean, it's really, to me anyway, it's very dissonant when you hear somebody talk about the need for background checks. Right after the murders in Santa Barbara, when the killer actually went through a background check, right. And they calling for we need to ban some automatic rifles when this guy used handguns. To me, it rings very untrue. It just smacks of this, astroturf activism, and unfortunately, I think the where they've been effective is again with this compliant media, but also a corporate culture that is risk averse. And when the Moms Demand gets the hashtags going, that gets the PR folks nervous, and so we see them issue these press releases. As far as legislative changes, I haven't seen them be successful, but I think at this point they're really trying to change the culture more so than they're trying to change the laws.
Well, and that's frankly very smart, because I contend that when you win the PR battle, you will win the legislative battle.
I think that's a good rule of thumb. I'm sure that there are exceptions to the rule, but I think they understand that the reason why gun control laws aren't getting passed in the United States is because Americans don't want them. You can look at the polls and say, 90% of Americans want this, but they don't. Their support for this may be an inch deep. They don't really understand the issue. They don't know the issue, and a lot of them, it's not one of their big issues. So right. Gun control advocates are trying to make this a big issue for non-gun-owning Americans who are more apt to come down on the side of gun control. And again, I think they're trying to otherize gun ownership. That's the word that I've used, particularly among women.
Otherize.
Otherize, yeah. To you're weird, you're different, you're an other. You're not like us, normal Americans. You're a gun owner. And that's what they want, I think, the PTA moms to say to that mom who shows up with her I'm an NRA mom bumper sticker. I'm sorry, my kids can't come over to your house. I didn't realize you were a gun owner. My kids can't play with yours. I think that's the cultural attitude towards guns they want.
Well, certainly it's a marginalization. It's part of the Saul Lewinsky rules for radicals. What you have to do is you have to marginalize a group, and when you can marginalize them, then you can make them irrelevant.
Absolutely. And that's why one of the things that we do on NRA News, Canva Company, for instance, is every day we do an armed citizen story. So that we point out, these are real human beings who are defending themselves with firearms. There was an amazing woman in Detroit a few weeks ago named Paris Ainsworth. She's 51 years old. She's a grandmother. She works in healthcare. 10 years ago, she was mugged. 2 years ago, she got her concealed carry license. And I think it was 3 weekends ago, she was pulling into her driveway. She saw two guys coming up. She went, oh, no. Had time to grab her .45. She got out of the car. They shot her 4 times. 3 times in the side, once in the hand. But it wasn't her shooting hand. And so she was able to draw her gun. She returned fire. She killed one of them. The other one took off running. And she said, if it weren't for that gun, I wouldn't be here today. And so when all these people who say, well, let's just ban handguns and you're a bad mom or a bad woman for owning a handgun, when they say these things, I want them to be able to look Paris Ainsworth in the eye and tell her that she shouldn't have had her gun that night. I want them to tell her that she's a bad woman and a bad grandmother and a bad mom for having a gun in her home. Because I don't think they can do it.
Right. Well,
you know,
and
I think
that's
they like to
part of
set
what
up these
we're trying to do is
we have to point out that we're real people.
We have to get our message out. We have to get our message out of these successes. I just found this interesting quote. Believe it or not, this is from Abraham Lincoln. Public sentiment is everything. With public sentiment, nothing can fail. Without it, nothing can succeed. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, it is. It is. And, you know, look, I think...
And that goes back to what you're talking about.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry,
and
go ahead,
I think most Americans do, you know, at the end of the day, they don't shriek in horror when they hear about Kara Ainsworth being able to defend herself. They say, yeah, that's the way it should be. Those guys shouldn't have been trying to rob this woman on a Saturday night. What are they doing? You know, we understand that there are good people and there are bad people in this world. There are people who are doing bad things a lot of the time. And you know what? I think it's fair to say that makes you a bad person. If you're trying to rob some woman on a Friday night, it makes you a bad person in my book. And I think most people understand got that ability to protect ourselves. There's nothing wrong with being able to protect yourself and the people you love against someone who's trying to do you harm, no matter what former mayor or what a PR campaign or what some consultant might say. That doesn't change the fact we have an inherent human right of self-defense. All we've got to do is simply, again, I think, continue to tell these types of stories to point out the Paris Ainsworth of the world, because the rest of the media won't.
And you're listing those stories on the website.
Absolutely. Every day we have those stories, and usually more than one.
Okay, and that's nranews.com. People can go there, pick up those stories, use those when they're talking with their neighbors or friends. And also, of course, they can find out when you're on and find out how to listen to Cam and Company. Cam, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. It is just a pleasure. I very much appreciate what you do.
Well, listen, Tom, the feeling is mutual. I love talking with you on NRA News, Cam and Company. Keep up the great work. And, boy, that was a fast half hour. Thank you, sir. I had a great time, and hope we can talk again soon.
We'll do it. Yeah, it always goes so quickly. We'll pick it up again another time. Thank you. You take care. Cam Edwards from Cam and Company, NRA's Cam and Company, on the web. It's nranews.com. You can find a lot of information there. And they're doing this thing I talked about. Let's make sure that the public knows about every time when people use guns for self-defense, these stories of heroes saving other people, saving themselves. That trumps the whole, well, gee, I think it would be a good idea. Don't you think it would be good to reduce? Don't you? No. These are people who wouldn't be alive if they didn't have a gun. It's like that book title, Thank God I Had a Gun. 866-TALK-GUN. 866-TALK-GUN. What do you think? Isn't it good that some people have a gun?
Tom Gresham's Gun Talk is broadcast nationwide every Sunday. If you can't hear Gun Talk where you live, call your local talk format station and clue them in on Gun Talk. Stay tuned. We're coming right back. Now broadcasting nationwide on radio, via satellite, and through downloads, iTunes, the Gun Talk app, and other podcast clients. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. Our number is 866-TALK-GUNS, 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in here. 866-825-5486 if you like the numbers better. Amy has called in. Amy appreciates your patience out of Clinton, Louisiana. Hello, Amy. How you doing? Hello, Amy. Maybe we don't have Amy. Okay, let's do this. Let's try going down to line 3. Let's see if we can have Gary in Nevada. Hello there, Gary.
Hi, Tom. Good to talk to you again.
All righty. How can I help you?
I wanted to relate a little story here about carrying the 1911. This old fellow up in the hills when I lived in the mountains had a little Greasy Spoon cafe and a little gun shop in a separate building, and safety wasn't his forte. The gun shop started to look like Bonnie and Clyde's car after a while. But anyway, one Saturday morning, he was over at the Greasy Spoon, and the place was full of tourists. He was in there in the kitchen cooking, and he carried a 1911 cocked and locked. But anyway, somehow, I don't know if he was trying to swat a fly with the pancake turner or what, but the 45 got loose, hit the floor, and put a hole right through a brand-new case of Pepsi-Cola. Nobody was hurt, or there may be some fingers getting trampled on as the tourist exited But anyway, I always preferred to carry mine hammer down on a unloaded chamber, and a lot of people don't realize that firing pin's shorter than the part of the slide that it's housed in, so that's perfectly safe. And I can cock that hammer just about as fast as I can flip the safety. So.
Well, but you're carrying it on an empty chamber or a loaded chamber?
No, on a loaded chamber, yeah.
Oh, okay. And that's certainly one way to go. I carry cocked and locked where I'm carrying a 1911. One of the things the reason that they came up with the Series 80 was to prevent, if you drop a 1911 on its hammer, having it go off. Another thing that some people do is they replace the firing pin with a titanium firing pin, which is much less likely to fire if you drop the gun on the hammer.
But yeah, the good part of the story was afterwards we told him he was lucky that was a case of Pepsi-Cola he shot. Had it been Cheerios or something, the paper would have reported it as a serial killing.
No, I didn't see that one coming. That's awful. I like it. I love puns anyway. Gary, look, thank you for that call. I appreciate it. Let me see. I think we've got Amy back on. Let's try on line 4. Let's see if Amy's there. Hello, Amy, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am good. This is an interesting question you have. Please go ahead.
Okay. My question was, and I actually was in this scenario at one time, if you were in a public situation, and this happened to be in a mall, where there is security guards, which normally they're going to be unarmed, and you have the need arises where you need to use your weapon to defend yourself or your family, is there a protocol or an unwritten rule? And, I mean, I don't want to come across as a threat to a security guard where they would, maybe see me as the bad guy. So how do you handle that kind of situation? Do you let the security guard's making $9 an hour, so do I really want to trust that he's going to defend me anyway? And
Amy, I think you know the answer to that question, don't you?
Right, I know the answer to that question. So, but I mean, generally you need to stick up for yourself and defend yourself and your family first and foremost then. And
okay, let me say something here. I don't depend upon anybody for my protection.
Yes, sir.
Security guards or police officers. I don't depend upon anybody. But having said that, here's the thing. If you're around police officers who are armed, understand that if people start shooting, they're going to try to find somebody to shoot. And if you're standing there with a gun, you're liable to be the person they end up shooting.
Yes,
so
sir.
When I say take care of yourself, that may not mean pulling a gun and shooting. It may mean if something weird happens, your first order of business is to get the heck out of Dodge. And in a mall situation, some of the situations that happen is there'll be like a fight or a scuffle, and then it grows and grows, and it's weird, but people will actually move in. It's like a schoolyard fight. They want to see what's going on.
That is exactly what happened, and it turned from a small argument between two young guys into a all-out helicopters in the sky, swarmed by police in Baton Rouge kind of situation, which is an area I don't really like to go in anyway because it's notorious for crime, and just being there to begin with probably wasn't the best idea. And it kind of reaffirmed my beliefs in staying away from a big, large group of people like that.
Well, the one thing I would say is that keep your awareness up, be alert, and at the very first sign of something that's not right or going weird, get out. Even if it means leaving a basket full of clothes or things that you have bought or whatever, and you haven't checked out yet, get out. Leave them. Leave the basket. Leave whatever you're doing. Either go to one of the doors of the mall, or even better, go to the back of a store, because every store has a door in the back that they use for employees.
Very good point.
Out. Just go. And I mean, grab your family, grab whoever you're with, and say, "Come with me now." And they'll go, "What are you talking about?" Say, "Shut up. Come with me right now." And I mean, like, grab them and drag them if you got to, because that's going to be your best line of defense, is simply not being there when it gets really ugly.
Right.
As far as pulling your gun out, look, if somebody's about to stab you, shoot you, do what you got to do. But understand,
yes,
and if you're carrying a gun, I'm assuming you have a concealed carry permit.
Yes, sir.
They should have covered this. They may not have. But if you have to shoot somebody, understand that there could be other people with guns. There could be police around. If and when the police show up, get rid of your gun. Put it on the ground or just drop it. Let it go. Get rid of it. Get your hands up in the air. Don't move. Just do exactly what they tell you to do. Assume that you're going to get handcuffed, but what you don't want to do is get shot by the cops because they don't know who the good guys and bad guys are. But your instinct is exactly correct. When that little fight ends up blossoming into something, it may be too late. When two people get into an argument or a fight, do a 180 and get distance. Distance is your friend. Distance will save your life. Distance will keep you out of the fight. I wish you luck with that, and thank you so much for the question. I think it's great. And yeah, malls, I go to them, but it's you just got to be alert. You got to understand what's going on there, and you just got to be careful. 866 Talk Guns. Be right back.
Brownells proudly celebrates 75 years of history and heritage as the world's first choice for firearms, accessories, ammunition, and gunsmithing tools. So whether you're a gunsmith in need of parts and supplies, a new shooter looking for the perfect holster, or a skilled competitor seeking the latest gear, Brownells has what you need. And best of all, every purchase comes with the industry's only forever satisfaction guarantee. Visit us at brownells.com.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to springfieldarmory.com. That's springfieldarmory.com.
Home invasions happen anytime, day or night. Do you have a firearm close by? You can, and still keep it secure with one of the great wall safes from Console Vault. Plate steel construction, 2 levels of security, and models which hide in plain sight. Install 2 or 3 around the house. Always nearby, but secure. Locked, but quick to open. Visit consolevault.com. That's CONSOLE vault.com.
Tired of overpaying for one concealed carry holster after another that is flimsy, hard to hide, or just plain uncomfortable? At Alien Gear Holsters, less than $30 gets you a professional quality holster that's super stealthy and ultra comfortable. Every Alien Gear holster is backed by a forever warranty, a 30-day test drive, and free shell trades for life in case you buy a different gun. AlienGearHolsters.com. AlienGearHolsters.com. In today's climate, you always need to be ready. Nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights. Shoot better. Stay safer. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge.
Want to have some more fun after today's radio broadcast of Gun Talk? Stick around for the after show with Tom, Jim, Michelle, and Michael. Now, more Gun Talk.
All right, back with you. 866 Talk Gun will get you in here. Matthew's on line 2 out of South Carolina. Hello, Matthew. Matthew, you there?
Yes.
How can we help you?
I have a slight difficulty trying to get my parents own to the gun range, okay, and interested into the shooting sports.
Okay. How old are you?
21.
21. Have your parents ever been into the shooting sports?
Not really. I'm trying to get them into it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Why?
Because it's kind of boring when it's just you on the gun range.
Okay. Are you living with them?
Yes.
Okay, got a suggestion then. Now try this. How about, it sounds like it could be that the issue is getting them to the range. How about bring the range to them? with either air gun or airsoft, something you could shoot in or around the house.
Okay, I didn't really give that too much of a thought, actually.
If you can get them to start enjoying it and say, hey, guys, let's try this. If an airsoft gun knocking over plastic cups is a hoot. They could do that in the house. It's safe. And if they get to that, you say, well, let's try something else. And then maybe that is the pathway to get them out there and take you out or have you go with them to the range. So I would try baby steps. See if you can get them involved. And the other thing is, here's the thing. They may have no interest whatsoever, and that's okay. I understand. And it may be that what you actually are needing is not your parents to go out with you, but to have somebody else go to the range with you. So get involved with a local sportsman's club, Ducks Unlimited, something, a gun club. Find a group of shooters somewhere, somehow. Maybe it's an online group, but there's somebody out there that you can get in touch with and find some other shooters and go out and enjoy the sport with them.
Okay.
All right. I wish you luck with it, Matthew. Thank you for the call. Let's see. Line 1, Gary, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Gary, talk to me about gun banners.
Well, thank you, Tom, for taking my call. I just wanted to make a comment. My son and I have been teaching concealed carry in Oklahoma for a number of years. You make some outstanding points, especially the one about avoidance. It's excellent. That's the best thing a person can do. But the point I wanted to make is when I hear somebody talk about banning guns, banning weapons in this country today, I ask them point blank, do you mean about like Mexico? Because I think that's a good example of what our society would be like. What they don't understand in our culture today with the gangs, the drugs, the pursuit of money, and the crime, this would be an extremely dangerous society if law-abiding citizens did not have firearms.
Well, of course, you know what you get? You get that silly idea. They say, well, but the criminals get their guns from good people because all guns start off as legal sales. So if we get rid of all legal sales, that will choke off the supply, never even imagining that, look, if you're a billionaire drug czar in the U.S. or in Mexico, you're going to be able to get guns no matter what. All you're going to do with these laws, yeah, good point here. Jim is saying, how about 3D printers? We have all that too. But the point is that all you do with gun laws is you take guns away from the innocent, from the good people, from people who would use them to protect themselves, and then you give a monopoly on power to the criminals.
That's exactly right. And you know, the irony is that all of this attention to banning guns and gun control has caused people to go out and buy guns by the millions. You can't even imagine what an overwhelming task it would be to try to retrieve all those firearms. People would find ways to hide them, to avoid having to give them back. It's by our very nature and our culture. We would look for...
Yeah, the only way that they could ever pick them up would be to do pretty much what was done in Germany, where they said, okay, here's the deal. If you have a gun in your home, you're going to have an amnesty period of 30 days. If you turn them all in. After that, we're going to come, and if you have a gun in your home and you didn't turn it in, they pull you out on the street and they shoot you on the spot.
Yeah.
That's what they did in Germany and Belgium, and that's what the Germans did all over, and that's what they would have to do here. It's the only way it would work, is if anybody is caught with a hidden gun, they just pull them into the street and shoot them and the other members of their family in front of their neighbors, as a way to, as the liberals like to say, send a message. So there you go. Listen, I appreciate the call, sir. Bill, Coos Bay, Oregon. Are you really hunting deer with a 218B? Line 3,
Bill. There's a little blacktail over here. Hit it with anything bigger than that, you're going to ruin me. Hell, I got a German Shepherd that's bigger than some of them.
218B is an old cartridge shooting a little bullet, 22 caliber bullet at, not real fast, but what kind of bullets are you using in there?
I do my own hand loading on them. I got, I forget the weight of the bullet right now, but off the top of my head, because I load quite a few, so.
That is great. Yeah, and it's, you know what, it makes a good point. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. Anything you use is good enough if it does the job. But the most important thing for a hunting round and for a self-defense round is putting it in the right place. If you can hit what you're aiming at, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get the results that you were looking for. At least that's been my experience. 866-TALK-GUN. We can still get you in. Give us a shout.
Join the NRA via Tom Gresham's Gun Talk website and receive $10 off the regular membership price. Log on to guntalk.com for details. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Just because we're wrapping up on the air doesn't mean we're done talking about guns. Stick around for the after show. It's our podcast-only version designed to include all the stuff we simply couldn't fit into a regular show. Call in now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, back to Tom.
Yeah, I invite you to call in, and you could be on the after show. Of course, the other hidden secret, the benefit of calling in right now, if you're listening and you're about to be on the after show, you get to hear what's going on the after show. So you can call us 866-TALK-GUN. Roy is on line 1 out of Ohio. Hey, Roy, you got a good story for us?
Oh, yes, sir, Tom. Hey, listen, about 2-3 months ago, you got, I called in about a vision problem, and you told me I needed an excess sight on my gun, and you had them on as a next guest, and you got them to send me a sight, and they even put it on for me, and man, it's on my Ruger SR9. I just love that thing. I'm telling you, when you say it's as big as a golf ball, you are right. It's great.
So,
and they even send me along an excess sight ball cap made in America for free. I love it.
How does that help with your vision and your shooting?
Oh, my gosh. You know, I'm not talking about trying to, drive tacks at 50 yards or anything, but I'm inside a 4-inch circle at 35 feet, man, and I'm right on it, and there's no hesitation, and that's all I could ask, and that is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful product. I'm going to get some more of them for sure.
And they're fast, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely fast. And you were right. You said you don't really have to even kind of line them up. You put that ball on that target, and you're there. And I'm telling you, a little practice, I probably put 2 or 3 magazines through there before I was right on every time. Mm-hmm. And they were just wonderful to work with. I saw them at the convention, and I met the gal that sent them, and they're just delightful people to work with. Yes.
Yeah, they are. Stephanie's just great. All those folks at XS are great. They make great products. I cannot recommend them too highly. They're just terrific. Roy, thank you for that report. I love getting a range report from somebody like that. Richard, Anchorage on line 4. Richard, we don't have a lot of time, so jump into it, please.
Yes, Tom, in the 2013 the Safari Club show in Vegas, I bought a Inverness over and under shotgun from Connecticut Shotgun, paid for it in full via credit card, and to this day I have not received my firearm. I don't know quite what to do or where to go. They keep stalling me. They have them for sale. I saw them at the Safari Club show this past February, but they didn't have mine.
So it's been more than a year. Now you have the credit card receipt. I mean, they obviously got the money from your credit card?
Yeah, absolutely. I have all of it right in front of me as I'm speaking to you.
What do they say?
Well, they keep prolonging me. They keep telling me, well, in a couple of weeks you'll get it. In a couple of weeks, it's the old stall tactics.
Yeah, I think it's time to go to your credit card company and say, okay, report this as a bad deal. Have them pull the money back. I'll actually suck it out of their bank account of the company. You get your money back. Cancel the order. And if that doesn't work, I would go to small claims court or actually talk to law enforcement and say, hey, I got a problem here. What can you do to help me? A lot of ways to skin that cat, but I wish you luck with it. Let me know how that works out if you would, please. All right, here's the deal. We're going to start the after show now. You can call right now. We're going to get you into the after show, which is, let me tell you, it's a little bit more interesting. We got a lot of voices going on. We got Jim and Michelle, and we got Michael and me, and you never know who's going to show up. So if you call right now, you can be a part of that mayhem, that madness, that fun stuff, the gun free-for-all. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. 866-TALK-GUN. Today's the first day of the hurricane season. Do your prep. not just for hurricanes, fires, floods, whatever else. It's up to you to take care of your family. You are responsible for your own safety now and always. We'll see you next week, and don't forget, take somebody's shoes.